Good evening. The Board of Selectmen are now back in the public session. The next thing we have is the elected official oath of office. Ms. Briand.
We just want to do everybody at the same time?
If that's what you would like to do,
Stand them all up in the front
stand them
there?
all up and
Then you'll just have
rattle
to
off a
sign
whole
here.
bunch of names.
Oh, we'll just do this easy way. So if everyone that needs to be sworn in, just stand up in front of we're gonna block you.
Perfect.
Okay.
Make everybody happy at home.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can have whatever you want. I don't know.
Stand in front.
Yeah. Careful the trip hazards.
They're all elected.
Implant done today. It wasn't a good day to call you.
That's Tuesday.
This is like when people become citizens. I'll leave it to you.
That's next.
What's next? Okay.
All right, so everybody raise your right hand. We're just gonna do a general. You can just put in your position and your name and. Is that the one that's related to you, Kevin?
Huh?
Is he related to you, you said?
No, that one.
Oh.
Really is.
I'm sorry.
Gotcha. All right. And then we'll have you sign this after. All right. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform the duties incumbent upon you as to the best of your abilities, agreeable to the rules and regulations of the state of New Hampshire, so help you God? Excellent. Easy. You're all nice.
Congratulations to everyone.
Welcome back.
Just get these signed.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Mr. Taylor, welcome back.
Give any Hayes. Jen?
You were doing a good job with the appointments.
Yeah, that's perfect. You didn't get beat by blank.
Jennifer, that's you.
I
Awesome.
know.
Thank
It's tough.
you. Thank you.
Up.
Thank you.
All you gotta do
One of
is
those
figure,
was,
you were
You're
unopposed, how
welcome.
many votes you didn't get out of
What's that?
1,500?
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you.
Right.
That's how you
Excellent.
gotta look at it.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, thank you.
Bourbon on that, make you feel better.
Thank you.
But not too much.
But not too much, just enough. That's what we used to do to the babies. Rub it on the gums.
3 minutes.
We got this.
Thank you.
At least I'm like there, so it's not like it's just one party.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make us proud.
Library trustee. Yeah, I think
They knew.
Good job, Terry.
Thank you.
That was pretty quick.
That's right.
3-minute egg.
Next, we have the review and approval of consent items. We have the account payroll manifest of March 8th, 2022 in the sum of $100,468.61, and March 15th, 2022 in the sum of $54,474.69. We have a payroll manifest of March 10th, 2022 in the sum of $58,020.40, and March 17th of 2022 in the sum of $62,142.43. We have the February 2022 Treasurer and Town Clerk reconciliation. We have 2 veteran credits for the sum of $750. We have 4 elderly exemptions. We have purchase order M22-06 in the sum of $16,950 for the communication tower generators. We have a gravel tax warrant, map 21, lot 18, in the sum of $3,302.40. And we have an intent to excavate on map 21, lot 18. Are there any items members would like to remove from consent? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Lynch,
Second.
second by Ms. Queenan. All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
All right.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch,
Aye.
Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 500. Is there any business members who would like to add this evening? Hearing none, public input will occur no later than 6:45 PM. First item of business are the February 28, 2022 minutes. Has everybody had a chance to review them? Do we have any corrections, comments?
I look down.
Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve? Motion by Mr. Larry. Second by Mr. LaSalle's. All those in favor, Mr. Larry.
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's. Mr. Lynch.
Aye.
Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I will abstain. Motion carries 4-0-1. Next item is the fishing derby. Mr. Brown.
Okay, we have, I don't think Matt Lepore is here this evening, but we have another representative from the conservation.
Come on up, Harry.
And Harry will give you an update on the fishing derby, trying to bring it back. I think some of you heard about it in the budget process where it's a joint effort with Rec Commission and
Okay.
Conservation.
Well,
Welcome.
thank you.
For the viewers at home,
what
tell
we-
them your name.
Pardon?
For the viewers at home, tell them your name.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name's Harry Manzigian, member of the Conservation Commission. Okay, I apologize.
Welcome.
Make a long story short, we wanted to bring back the fishing derby. And we looked around for a place that we could hold it. The first spot that we thought of was Chase Brook. But because of the condition of the dam and the amount of repairs that were required, that got crossed off the list. It involved too much. And so the only other place that we had in town is we went down and looked at Nessenkeg or Parker Place, and that appears to be suitable, okay,
The Brickyard.
for fishing.
The Brickyard Brook?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we proceeded with that. What we've done is I put up an agenda, which we're partnering with the Recreation Committee. And I put up an agenda that'll be reviewed by the Recreation Committee. I also came up with a set of rules and a category of prizes. And we have a sponsor. His name is Paul Lemire. And I did talk to him, and he said that he would be able to supply us with different items that we can pass out to the kids to for the different prizes. One of the things I did put in the rules, and I'll just read it out loud. If help is needed for any reason, you must contact a member of the Conservation or Rec Committee. And the reason I did that is because, quite honestly, I don't know what the liability as far as anything goes, as far as the town goes. So in my warped sense of justice, if I put it in there, at least we're covered if something happens. Okay? So I guess I've ordered the fish. The fish has gone up in
He was saying.
cost. The last time that we did it in 2019, we spent $500 and got 500 fish. This year, I had a budget of $650 and was only able to procure 158 fish. So the state will supply another 158 up to 200. Okay. I'm bouncing around here a little bit. So some of the rules the state insists on. Some of the things we just did, like don't damage the trees and vegetation and stuff. Pick up your own trash type of situation. I've been working very closely with Jeff Town on the Recreation Committee. So we're going to go down to Nessenkeg, clean that up a little bit. One of the things that was interesting was, okay, we put the fish in the brook. So how do we keep the fish from going into the Merrimack?
That's where they're gonna end up.
They used to build a fence
Well, I did talk to the fisheries department, and the way I worded it at first, I said, can we put up a restriction just for that one day? And they said, absolutely not. And I said, okay. What happens if we own our own property? Oh, yeah, that's okay. So we're all set there. Probably going to string a snow fence, because these fish are going to be between 8 and 10 inches long. We'll just string a snow fence across the brook for the amount of time that the Derby will be. Derby's going to be from 8 to 11 o'clock on May 14th, okay? So the only thing that I would ask of the Board of Selectmen to help out a little bit is, because it's on 3A and because it's on a curve, I already talked to a police officer who said to get hold of the chief in April, and I could use some backup, because I really, just from a safety point of view on that curve, because it's probably going to be, hopefully, at least maybe 25 cars there, and they're going to be pulling in and out and all that sort of stuff.
Where are they gonna park? Right there at the park?
Well, Parker Place obviously has very limited space. We did talk to Wilson Farm, that owns the lot next to it, which is much bigger. And in our,
What about the little field on the other side? Jason, that's conservation now too, right?
pardon?
The little field over
Community
there,
garden.
the community garden area? That's a
The
pretty good
problem
size.
with that, I analyzed that. We're going to use that to have the volunteers park their vehicles.
Okay.
Because they're going to be adults. And they can walk 3A a little bit safer than having children going there. We had thought about that, and I talked to the rec committee and I talked with conservation. And we all agree that not to have parents walking kids from the community garden. Well, it is a little bit of a hike, and it is around the corner.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the speed limit is 40, depending on
Yeah.
which day
Yeah.
or which time of the morning or day that you're on there. So from a safety point of view,
Is there a walking bridge across the brook?
no, there is not.
Okay.
No. If there was, I probably would use that. But talking to the folks that are in charge of the community garden, that bridge will probably not be available in time. So the other thing I could use a little help on is maybe possibly getting an EMT there. The worst I anticipate is maybe a child falling in the brook. The next worst thing is getting caught by a hook.
That's worse than the brook, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we can work with police and fire to get you a detail and an EMT for that day.
Okay, and I'd appreciate that. Again, this is all new to me, so.
Well, it's been a wonderful tradition
Yeah.
through the years. I mean, my daughter's almost 50 and she participated.
Oh, good.
It was great. And we had a very small fence back then. So, I would maybe rethink the snow fence because I'm afraid the fish will go through it. But it was almost like chicken wire, chicken wire fence.
Mhm.
And
Blueberry netting would work well too.
The
That's
one
really
thing the
small.
state definitely said I could not use a gill net. And I don't, everybody familiar with, I apologize. Everybody familiar with a gill net?
No, sorry.
For Kim's,
I can Google it.
well, a gill net is, they used to use it, commercial fishing. And the way you catch the fish is the fish would swim into the net and get caught behind their gills and they drowned. So,
The blueberry netting, it's about maybe 3/8 of an inch, the squares. I actually have some
Yeah.
if you'd like
And
to.
it's metal?
No, it's mesh.
Oh,
It's
okay.
mesh.
So it's,
Put a stake on either side and maybe one in the middle and.
well, that's what I'm going to, that's, if the weather holds up
And it won't restrict the water, so.
and we don't have a drought or anything, that's the plan, is to put a stake at either end and maybe a cup in the middle, just to put a barrier there, okay? And then I thought that if we do have a lack of water, probably get some 4x8 sheets of plywood, put it against the fence and at least
You'll be
supply some water.
You'll be
The
fine
water
down
be
there.
good.
That's always
Yeah.
got water.
But, you know, everything's
No,
It's a good
based on
story.
the weather, but I have committed to it, rain or shine. You know,
state used to stock that.
I just
years ago.
remember
That's right.
when my kids were doing it, there were so many friggin' fish that you could grab them, you know?
yeah.
And the kids had a ball. They had a
Oh, yeah, there's
ball.
no question about it. I was a volunteer in 2019, and one of the things that I was not particularly happy with was that people would take advantage of the fish. In other words, catch more than, and this is for the kids. So that's why I put in the rules, no more than 5 fish, or 5 pounds,
5 pounds.
whatever comes first. So I guess, is there any other questions or anything I can answer for anybody?
But you got to quit calling it Nessenkeg. It's Brickyard.
It is
For those of
Brickyard.
us that've been here for a long time, Nessenkeg is behind where the old drive-in was.
No comment there.
Yeah, I guess Ness and Keg, before they did the highway, they did change it. Was a very good spot to do it, so we'll try.
Whatever, Harry, it's a wonderful tradition. I'm happy that it's coming back.
Thank you for all your efforts.
Yeah.
and
If
the
there's
rec and
anything else
conservation.
we can do to help.
Well, we'll get our fingers crossed and we'll see what happens, you know. If it works out well, we'll do it again. If it doesn't work out quite well, maybe I'll go over to Chase Brook and the owner over there and
Duchamp.
bend his arm or something. I don't know. We'll take one thing at a time, I guess, for right now.
I think Ms. Queenan has questions.
Just for the public, the kids need a fishing license or they just go?
Now, one of the rules that the state stated is that nobody over 15 can fish, because at 16, you need a fishing license. And I kind of agree with that. When you get a 16-year-old in there, you know, he's,
And we're going to be visited by Northwoods Law.
Could be.
There you go.
That would be great.
yeah, I was a big fan of it till I took it off the air. The other interesting thing that is going to occur, and I don't even know how I'm going to even handle this, is that in my experience working with fishing derbies, about 50% of the people, parents that are there, really don't know how to fish. Now, fishing in a pond is bad enough. Now we're going to be fishing in a stream with a current. So that's why I'm asking for 8 volunteers to do a lot of
It'll
more.
make for a challenging morning.
It certainly will.
But we
So,
got to give the fish a chance, though. You know, we got to give them a chance.
they'll have plenty of chance once they pull a barrier up.
There you go.
One of the things that we're going to try to do, and it kind of depends on what happens is we're going to set up a cleaning station. The reason I did that is that 90% of the fish they're going to get caught are going to die. Because most people don't know how to unhook it from a bar. So they're going to do all sorts of different things. So I'd like to give them the opportunity, if they would like to take some of these home, okay? We'll have a table, hopefully, with some folks there that'll help clean them, put them in plastic bags. If they don't want to take them home and they do die, I will have a trash can with a plastic liner that they can deposit the fish. I don't want them thrown back into the stream. That's just a waste of money and, you know,
Well, you gotta feed the fisher cats.
you know. The otters and the
And the bobcat that's been around.
bobcats, and
Loving that.
they'll have a blast, you know.
They'll be loving that, yeah.
But if they do that, then I think we should tax them. So, like I said, any other questions?
Wait, we don't need a motion or anything to have the event, right?
No, but I will, I'll reach out to police and fire and.
Okay, I'd
see if we
appreciate
can,
that.
Get details scheduled.
Okay, and then you can let Matt or myself know, and that'll be
I'll
great.
reach out by email and copy you and Matt so
Okay.
that we can get a conversation going.
All righty, well, thank you very much, and we'll see how it goes.
Thank you.
Harry.
Thanks
We'll
for all
help
your
you out
efforts.
at all, let us know.
Next, we have the Old Town Hall parking lot improvements. Mr. Brown.
By the way, the fishermen.
Jay
make
is here, so I
excellent
know he's gonna want
fertilizer
this.
For a garden.
It is.
You better not throw any of those fish behind my house.
I'm gonna put it in your car.
See if it works.
Makes you like grumpy old men.
What's that smell?
It's the bread.
Can stay away.
As always with the
You didn't
presentation.
trust me.
Oh, I thought you sent me the, all right.
It's always fun. when
Never
you-
No, it's better when you're here.
Okay.
You plug
All right.
in, you go
Brings
live.
pictures.
Yeah.
He brings
Welcome.
pictures.
Go ahead, Troy.
All right. We invited Mr. Brennan back in this evening because, as you recall, about a year ago, we were talking about making some improvements down at the old town office, town hall. And that work was to remove the handicap staircase, remove some paving, and plant some green grass. So just kind of beautifying the area, making more green space, and the handicap ramp itself. One, it's in need of replacement. And two, by repositioning it, again, we can, have the old town hall improve the visual effects. So Jason has a photograph
Yep.
of the layout of what he's proposing
So-
to do.
Yeah, just to refresh your memory, like Troy said, just looking to improve the aesthetics of Old Town Hall. That's what it used to look like back in the day. It would be nice to know where those
That's the church.
granite posts are. They're around somewhere, Kevin.
Those are nice.
No, not those.
You have to ask Stephen Calloway. I bet you he'd know, if anyone does.
So this is what we have for
They have.
So this is what we have for existing conditions. I'm just giving you a refresher of what we talked about. It's like actually October, so it's like 5 months ago. Ugly hump, lots of pavement, dead grass, random stones, limited green space, crummy trees, all in there. So what the concept is to turn it from that, into that. So that to that. And to do that, what the process would be to take out the pavement of those 6 spots. And then Selectman Leary came up with the idea of also taking out the pavement of the walkway that's along the north side of the building, and then repositioning the ramp there. We got a local company that graciously is willing to work with us to clean up the parking lot there. And then we'll get some volunteers to do the other work, like potentially buy granite like we did around the corner of 3A and Hillcrest and line the front of it with granite and do all that stuff and plant new trees and things like that. The part where we probably need help, Troy, is the handicap ramp. Right now, it currently looks like that, and the concept was to maybe, instead of having the handicap ramp go down the side of the building, have it go down the back of the building. And Troy, I think, has reached out to the building inspector to see what's feasible there, but that's probably going to need a little support on the town side. We can get people to build it. It would just be getting the lumber to do that.
Yeah, Kevin had come down and looked at it when I was painting there last year and kind of configured a way that it could work. And
Code wise and everything else. It's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
It can be done.
And that's really about it. And I think we're here tonight just to see if you're still on board with doing it, number one. We did check with the Historic Society again. They're good with it. And I was talking with Mr. Charbonneau, and he said maybe they can do the parking lot part next month.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Can you go back?
Oh, the parking lot one? Yeah.
So what did we lose? 6 spots?
Yeah.
You know, another thing is once you do this project, because you know you've got these historic, you've got the church, the fire station, the old town hall. Once you get this project done, you really need to maybe take some attention to the old fire station. And you know, we've got the old charging stations, or whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of stuff just laying around outside. It's sort of part of the infrastructure of the facility, but removing some of the signage, just removing stuff and cleaning it up, because you know this is your historic
I gotta
center.
go.
I could use it.
But Jason, I know, is good at this stuff, and I mean, people drive around, take a look. There's some work that needs to be done on the exterior of this building.
Jason, has anybody ever looked into a historical marker, a state historical marker?
I will defer to Dr. Queenan on that. I believe the answer is yes.
Yes, they have, but I will talk to Stephen to get you the current status of that. But yes, that was discussed.
Let me know if there's anything I can do in Concord.
There's a great pizza shop.
Pardon me?
It's a good pizza shop up there. Bring some back.
So the one logistical thing that we have to think about, seeing that Selectman Leary loves the idea of taking out that ramp. When we take that out, so say if this actually does happen next month, and we take it out, there's going to be a period of time when there's going to be no ramp there. So I think we'll just have to, I don't know how we deal with that, but I think we'll just have to figure that out.
I don't think anybody's in the building, but we could always build a temporary if we had to.
You can almost take that piece that's on the end and flip
move
it around.
Yes, correct.
See if you can reuse it.
The archaeological survey they're going to be doing in the spring. Is across the street going to be disturbed in any way, so they can go walk it and figure out where everything is?
Only thing that's going to be disturbed would be that area right there that's in green. We already moved all the stones around there. We put the stones around back, but just that area in green.
Do we know there are no bodies under that?
We're going to find out.
No, there shouldn't be any there.
Yeah.
Most of them were across the street.
Nope.
6 inches.
No, I still think it's a great idea. It's going to look nice.
What do you need- what do you
Any
need from
input?
us? What do you need from us?
Troy, what do I need? Do we need anything?
No, I think, you know, just want to make sure everyone's aware, still on board with the plan. I know that Jason has reached out to the Historic Society. They're in support 100%. So Selectmen, being the owner of the building and property, or the overseers, you have the final say. But it's a great plan.
I think it's good.
Just, will you be done by Memorial Day?
It's a good question. I really can't answer that right now. So like if it did if the pavement did get ripped up early next month, which would be early April, it would give time, almost 2 months, for the grass to grow. And I think you would be set. There are other things that we need to do that are going to probably take throughout the summer, like ordering trees and getting that granite that won't even interfere with the Memorial Day parade.
Well, I'm thinking about the program.
Mhm.
Typically, it's held right there.
Yeah, all that grass.
And, that would not
Should
be
be all
good,
I did talk to Mr. Calawa about that.
Uh-huh.
And he said to me, I can't quote him on it, but I do have a message from him that said, he basically said, don't worry about that. We'll be able to work
Okay.
around it.
Okay.
What's the square footage of grass you're gonna put in there?
I actually deleted that slide, but it's about 60 feet is the long side.
Yeah,
And I think about 30 feet is the short side
and then the sidewalk area,
and the sidewalk area.
which is, I think,
Maybe about,
it's about 10 feet total from the building
yeah.
by whatever the building is.
So I think you would probably say
8 windows.
40 feet by 10, 400, probably 250 square
40
feet for the
feet.
sidewalk. 40 feet
No, it
times,
might be more than that. Might be closer to 500 because that building's probably at least 40 feet long. And you're going out 10 feet.
40 by 10, so that's 400, so 500. And
Okay. So about 2,300.
if we can get it hydro seeded, it'll come up pretty quick.
and I'll go out there with a sprinkler. I'll get some good sprinklers. We'll put a timer on it and everything like that. And
Do we have an outdoor spigot there?
There is, but it's shut off.
Yeah.
Kevin, it's still shut off, right?
Water is shut off in the building as a whole right now. Every year, they turn the water, because it comes out of the old the firehouse.
we'll figure that out.
But it's
So the biggest thing you need is for us to recruit volunteers.
We'll take care of that.
Oh,
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, I think we're good. Unless you want to rip all the parking lot up, grass the whole thing, and
that's the whole thing, yeah.
this is your chance.
Just seal coated it.
No, I think it's great. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate all your work.
I wonder, when they built the firehouse, I wonder why they didn't put it at the same angle as the old town hall. They're not at the same angle.
It's a little off there.
Yeah,
Well, the town hall got moved.
but that was before the firehouse was built.
No, it was after.
Yeah, it was after.
After the
Like
firehouse.
73 or something?
Yep, so it's 73, 72.
Yeah, somewhere around there, they moved the town hall back.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay, so that was before my time.
To follow the law.
So the question is, why didn't
Maybe
they
one follows
put the
law.
town hall at the,
See, I was thinking the town hall had always been there.
no, used
It's
to be
got a
across
cement
the street.
foundation. It's
Yep.
not the stone foundation that used to be in it. It's a new one. Jacked up, made a
So
basement.
where was it before?
Closer to the road,
Was
a lot closer to the road.
Was it across the street before then? No,
No,
it wasn't.
no.
Because that's where the cemetery was. But it was up next to the road. They moved it back.
Okay.
All right, seeing that it is 7:30, we'll open it to public input. Are there any members of the public that would like to provide input this evening? Please come forward and state your name and address.
Name is Michael Forty from 70 Talent Road. I'd like to thank everybody and
Welcome.
apologize. I've
You're welcome.
never been to a town meeting before, much less never spoken one before. So this is all new to me. I'd like to thank you for your patience with me.
You joined the maroon gang. that we had.
Jason got the memo.
It's my clean shirt.
There you go.
So I know you guys have argued it ad nauseum about the new fire truck. I wanted to actually offer a different perspective. Had I known all this was going on, I didn't even know that the town was looking to get one
Mhm.
prior to the 2 days before the election. I would have come up and offered an argument then, but it's coming to my attention that you have a grant available that can be used for that. So this is my impassionate plea to put onto that. I am a mechanic for the city of Somerville, Mass. I've been there for 8 years. I've been involved in purchasing and building fire apparatus. I know these trucks end to end, and I can tell you that that 30-year-old truck that you guys have in that bay over there desperately needs to be replaced. I actually went over there and crawled underneath and looked at it myself. It's due. It really is due to be replaced. I'm sure you're aware that the ISO rating is goes by years through NFPA, National Fire Protection Agency, and they say 30 years is the limit on pumps, 25 years is the limit on ladder trucks. So this truck is due. And when it comes to getting new trucks built, the price only goes up every year. It will never, ever, ever, ever come down. It goes up anywhere from 3 to 8% every year. I believe that next year, with everything that's been going on here the past couple of years, I believe that next year is going to be an incredible hike in price. You're never going to get it any cheaper than you are now. This truck, like I said, I looked at it. It's got its time on it. And when it fails, it's going to fail when you need it the most. It's not going to fail sitting in that bay. It's going to be when somebody's house is on fire and that truck pulls up, they throw it into pump's going to go, and now you just have a paperweight. There's a lot of components to those trucks. It's not just the pump controller. You have electronics components in there. These parts are no longer available. When it fails, that's it. Again, you have a paperweight. So you're at the option now of spending the $675,000 for that new truck. If that thing fails next year, now it's going to be $750 or more. At some point, you're going to have to do it. So this is my plea to use the grant money that the government has graced us with towards that. Does anybody have any questions?
Got one question about the old truck that we have.
Sure.
When you have significant weight on those things and you're hurrying to go to a fire, there's incredible stress that's put on the frame. Did you notice issues with the frame?
Absolutely did, sir. The frame, now I did not inspect it thoroughly end to end. I didn't crawl through it, but I did see a lot of rust on that frame. From my own experience, 2 years ago, year and a half ago, I personally had to replace frame rails on a 2009 vehicle. It rotted through so bad that it actually failed an ultrasound test and was starting to crack in places. It's my own personal experience. I have 9 frontline pieces and 5 spare pieces. This was a frontline piece, a 2009.
I'm just afraid that we're putting our firemen under safety issues.
Absolutely.
If you're going around a corner, you're hurrying to a fire, and you're going around a corner, so much weight, and the weight shifts, and that's not good.
We get a lot of components in there. Your suspension is made of the same materials. We have very, very nice roads here. These roads are glass up here. Down in Somerville, it's like the moon. We legitimately replace more springs in our vehicles than we do brakes. The brakes don't get that much use, but we can break springs. Our vehicles can go through a set of springs within 3 or 4 years. And those are heavy duty. You're talking about a pump unit that's carrying 500 gallons of water and all the equipment that's associated with it. I don't have a calculator. You can do the math on that, but they are very heavy vehicles. The brake components on them are under constant stress. Now, there was a lot of talk on Facebook, and I saw people talking about somebody was confused about the word engine and saying, well, we can just replace the engine. All right. So in the technical term, an engine is a piece of machinery that converts fuel to mechanical rotation energy. In the fire service, the term engine is referring to a pump vehicle. So if anybody here was confused with that, that vehicle is carrying 500 gallons of water. The pump unit itself is a couple thousand pounds. These engines are made to do 1 million miles if they don't shut off. Just like your car. You park your car out in the backyard and don't run it for an extended period of time, it just sucks mileage right off. It sucks life right out of it.
I got one of those.
Have you evicted the mice yet? All your seals in the engine itself will dry out. In my city, where our vehicles can do anywhere from 50 to 100 runs in a day, so they never really shut down. These vehicles that you have here in this town don't move. They can go days without moving. And when they do, the seals are all dry. Now they're pumping fluids all over the place. Now they're becoming a hazardous waste problem. Same thing with your brakes. When the brakes aren't being driven 1,000 miles a day, they dry up. Next thing you know, they fail. You have the brakes are controlled by air, and all of the components within the air system, all your lines, it's all plastic lines. That stuff dries up, gets brittle. Don't want it failing on you. Now, on the upside, if your brakes fail in a big diesel truck, you just stop where you're at. It's not like your car where you lose the brakes and, oh, I can't stop. No. If they lose the brakes on the way to a run, they just screech to a halt right where they are. And now
I
you have
think
to
we
call
realize we have an issue. But I really appreciate you taking time out of your night to come talk to us.
Again, I wish I'd known this was happening sooner. I would have come up sooner. I would have liked to have presented this to the town as a whole so that the vote would have had a better information. So again, I'm just pleading with you to invest any other questions?
Your name's Michael?
Michael 40. Yes, sir.
I think your information is fantastic. I think that it probably would have passed had the fire department had some people out there pitching for it. There was nobody out there the whole day. Like when they built the fire station, that's all you heard in the town. All the talk. They need a fire engine. Okay, they do. I've been against using the ARPA funds for it because we have other projects in town that also need money. And if we spend it all in one spot, then we're done. We're done. We can't do anything. We have some roads that need culvert work. Talked to the road agent quite a bit about it. And, there's just some things that need it rather than put it all in one basket. That's my opinion. Everybody can have their own, but I think the thing that really hurt it was nobody from the fire department was out there. And that's a real disappointment.
Well, there was that, and also the budget committee couldn't approve it.
Well, yeah,
They had the blurb there, but
Yeah, that's true.
that's another thing.
Becomes
We
a-
all supported. We all supported it.
Sure. It becomes a balance. When I'm working in a multi-million-dollar city, the money's always there.
Yeah.
Here, I can tell you that the hikes over the past 4 years since I've been here are starting to hurt me. When you raise the price, raise the value of my house by 30% 1 year, and I'm like, okay. It was,
Send me the
We
check.
didn't do that, by the way. We didn't do
my
that.
paycheck didn't go up with that.
We did
So
not
I
do
can
that.
understand people, resisting putting money out for things that they don't understand. I wish I had known that this was coming when they first asked for it. But that's it. It's too late. They can't be revoted. So I had to speak my piece.
No, I
Thank
greatly
you very much.
appreciate it. That was great to come in and do that. And take
Thanks
time
for
out of
the
your day and give us the expert opinion and go down to the fire station and look at it for us.
Yeah, I've talked to the chiefs and can only do what we can do.
Yep.
So, anybody needs to get a hold of me, be sure you have my number in City Hall.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Greatly
very
appreciate
much.
it.
Doctor.
Thank you.
Gentlemen.
Hey, you did a great
Good
job
job.
for your first time. Have a great evening. All right, next we have lease agreement, map 15, lot 22, Mr. Brown.
It's a annual lease agreement that the Board of Selectmen has approved for the last couple of years. If you recall, the Board of Selectmen can only approve a one-year lease. A multi-year lease requires a town vote. This property is located at 296 Charles Bancroft Highway. Questen Farm is the leasee. And we've agreed to, when we originally wrote this lease, both parties agreed to $1,000 per year. It's remained at that fee, which is a very competitive fee. I will tell you that there are other towns that own agricultural land and they lease it for $1 a year. And in exchange, the farmer maintains the soil for them and the property. And so $1,000 per year for this land is I would say a very good competitive lease agreement.
This is the parcel next to river access.
Yeah. So just need, if the board to approve it, you'll see it's already been signed off by the Questen Farm. It just authorized me to sign the lease, and
The landowner.
I'm the landlord. I'm the landlord.
So we need a motion to approve you to sign the lease
Yeah,
for
since
us.
when did you become a landowner?
I don't know, but that was pointed out by the lease. When the lease came back, they said, "Who are you, the landlord?" I'm like, "I don't know. The lawyers wrote it up."
So do we give authorization to Town Administrator Brown to sign the lease on our behalf?
I recommend it.
We have a motion by Mr. Lynch,
Second.
second by Ms. Queenan. All in favor, Mr. Leary,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's.
Aye.
Mr. Lynch.
Aye.
Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 5-0.
This came in quick because I walked in one day. He says, "Go find them."
Usually they're beating down our door in
I know.
July and
I know where they are.
planting at risk with no signed lease agreement. So we are ahead of the game this year.
Next we have is the resignation of Ruth Ellen Whitney, trustee of the trust funds. Mr. Brown.
Yeah, so unfortunately, the Board of Selectmen received this resignation, and it was too late at that point in time to place the position on the ballot. It came in after the deadline for everyone to sign up for office. So I did reach out to legal counsel. The Board of Selectmen are the appointing authority. You'll appoint just to complete this year, and then it will be on the ballot for next year. So I don't have, unless anyone has a name, but I'll reach out to the trustees and see if they, they'll probably recommend someone.
Also maybe put it on the social media page and just see if there's any other resident that might be willing to participate.
Do we have a written job description on that?
The town does not, but I'm sure the RSA describes what
It's the first question we're going to get.
what do they do?
What do they do?
I think we all asked that question.
Was there multiple names on the ballot this year, or was it an unopposed position?
Well, so I think what we have for the trustees of trust fund, was it Michael Falzone? Did he get reelected?
And
No,
Stephen
Callaway
Callaway.
got elected.
Steve
Yeah,
Callaway got reelected.
So we did have an extra name
So-
on there.
Yeah.
Maybe go to him first.
Oh, that's right. We had two names.
Yeah,
right?
two names. Let's go to him first.
That's how we get the queen.
Yeah.
I lost. Yay.
Would you like me to do that first before we reach out? to
Definitely,
social
yeah. In the past, we've gone to the next person. No?
I worry about that.
Yeah, I think that's only right.
It'll be a 1-year appointment, right? Then he'll have to run it in next year.
So how many trustees are there?
Three.
She's running next year.
Hmm?
You're running next year.
I
Right?
am.
All right. So
All right.
I'll take care of that.
Next, we have board appointments. It's always the fun part. The first, we have budget committee representative.
I've just listed the current
Yeah.
selectmen, what positions they currently hold right now.
I'll stay where I am.
Mr. Leary, would you like to partake for your 3rd year in a row? It was supposed to be 4th year.
It would be the 4th year.
4th year.
Nobody else wants it.
You're good with numbers, Bob.
I
I'm good with numbers.
I don't see a lot of people jumping up and down.
You know what? I've been sitting here for 4 years and no one else has ever jumped up and down.
Would you like to continue being our representative on that?
Well, talking to Mr. JD Son the other night, he said I have to, so I'll do it. I'll do it for him.
Okay. Next, we have planning board representative. Would
I
you
guess.
like to
Sure,
stay where you're at?
sure.
All right, next we have the Heritage Commission representative.
That's what I mean, that's the one that I'm on, and they don't meet very often, and when they do, it's not very long. So it's about all I can handle, but
There you go. You've got a full plate as it is, yeah.
yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Conservation Commission.
Stay there.
Stay there. I would like to continue with the Recreation Commission if nobody has any objection. Capital Improvement Committee representative. So since this is very much tied into planning board, Ms. Queenan, would you like to do that?
Sure.
My gut says what, Troy? Probably 2 meetings this year?
Yeah, it's 2, 3, or 4, maybe
At the
max.
most.
Yeah.
Because the first one will be what hasn't passed and redoing the whole thing, and then it's getting the overall plan.
We're you know, I know the CIP is not met for a while, so they want to regroup, take a look at the plan, update it if need be. Then there was some discussion about them working on coming up with a methodology study for the impact fees.
Yep.
There was some discussion about CIP being involved and sort of being the advisory board for the use of the ARPA funds.
Yep.
And then
Michael Croto is on that. Is that a conflict if I'm also
No.
sitting on the planning board as well?
I don't think so.
no,
You're the representative for both.
Just want to
he,
make
said-
sure.
he sits there as the
I had
planning board's
planning
rep,
board-
and you
When I
would
had
be
planning
select-
board, I did both.
Yeah, all right. I'm not worried about planning board. I'm worried about, two of us
No,
being there.
You were on it last year, right?
I've been on it for the last 3 years.
Did they have a list of priorities for all the things that they came up with
Everything was out over 5 years.
for the town
Town
and the
and
school
school,
combined,
yep.
or were they
Town and school
separated?
combined. Well, there's
Combined?
a chart for the town
Yeah.
and a chart for the
So it
school.
wasn't a
Then there's an
combined one.
overall burden if we did everything.
Listed in
Listed.
order of importance?
Yep.
Okay.
And
Do
we
you
had,
have that?
yeah, it's,
I asked
It's on the
Chuck, but
planning
I-
board,
I
isn't
don't know
it?
if it's an order of importance though.
It
didn't say
was-
like this is the
it
number
was
one.
urgent.
Yeah.
The rating.
There was a rating. It was a U,
Okay.
a D.
And it's
There's 3 different ratings we could give it.
Okay, because what I had always heard was that elementary school was first, and then a fire engine was second, and then
Well, we did. We kind of put priorities on where they would fall and then how much money it would be impacted in each year. So you could look at what the tax burden would be per year if everything went through.
Mhm.
Then the premise was if something didn't make it to warrant or wasn't voted in, you'd have to shift the priority down. We're trying to keep it a living document.
I was just curious what the order of.
I'll send it to
the
you.
pecking
Is this
order
right here?
was.
I'll send it to you.
Overall,
I have it.
overall,
Yep.
okay.
It's in the planning board link. You go to planning board?
It's in the link.
Yeah.
I got the whole
and you scroll
presentation. I
down,
can just
when you
send
get
it
to
to you.
planning board, the SIP plan's right there. 2020 to 2026.
At the time.
Okay. I was trying to make sense
Mr.
of the
Cutter
one
and I
that Troy
put together
sent me.
a
but-
presentation
yeah.
at the time. CIP for you. I'll shoot it over to you, Bob.
Okay.
All right, next we have School Facility Improvement Committee. I know the next heavy lifting on that would be talking about a new GMS. Since you were part of Campbell, Rich, would you be interested in being part of the school facility improvement?
I would probably not live through that. If I did, I'd probably be incarcerated. So I'm sorry, I can't.
Okay.
You want me to do that one?
If somebody else wants it, they can have it, because that's the next big heavy lifting. Right now, it's been all the LMS stuff, and it's usually once a month on Wednesdays at like 4:00 they meet.
4 o'clock?
Yeah.
That's gonna be tough for me
Yeah.
to make.
Nobody?
No,
All right,
then
I guess
RPC,
I'll
all that.
continue participating on the school facility improvement. And the next we have the emergency management team. Is there anybody that would like to take the emergency management team? Which was a lot of heavy lifting during COVID, but now it looks like we're going the other way.
I could probably do that.
Want to do that one? And usually when we do that one, it's a WebEx meeting, phone call.
Okay.
And we haven't, Troy, we met once in the last 7 months.
You go to those, Troy?
Yeah.
Troy's part.
Well, it was
So-
during COVID and we were all doing it virtually and.
So it's all the department heads, the school, and one member of the Board of Selectmen.
So you could keep me in line?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, so I think we have all of our appointments.
So did you end up staying in school? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
So next we have the town administrator report. Mr. Brown.
Oh, there's a few things here. One, if you see there's attached PDF, and we received a letter from the Litchfield Community Church thanking us for the donation that we gave at the end of the year. As you know, we've done this for the last 2 years. We've been able to donate to the food pantry, and we've also been able to give some money to the Litchfield Women's Club, and that goes directly towards their not the scholarship program, but just direct aid to our citizens. So VSW Awards received a letter. This is their annual event where they will recognize citizens, public employees, firemen, policemen. Police and fire usually do their own submittal. So take a look at that. In the past, some years we have made recommendations and some years we don't. So it's not required. But they're scheduling that, I think, in the month of May. Typically it was done in March. With everything going on, COVID, it got bumped out. Another issue is I wanted to report this to the board. I've not reported it to the rec commission, but down at Roy Memorial Park, we have an irrigation system, and we are over the years we've met with DES, and the school also has an irrigation well, and we're supposed to be reporting the amount of water that we use through the irrigation system. We worked with Penachuk. Kevin was around when we were working with Penachuk, and the idea was to install a meter. And Penachuk was going to be able to come around and capture the usage through the way they would do anyone's meter on their house. For whatever reason, we were never able to get that to work. And then the meter froze up. We purchased another meter and they never were able to get it to work. So we've received a notice of violation, which is I've reached out to DES. I haven't heard anything back to see what we can do about seeing if we can get, some kind of notification, a reporting of the usage this year. Not sure where this is going to go.
Try to get another
We've
meter,
missed this a couple of years, so I don't know.
Is the intent to go to Penachuk and see if we can get another meter installed?
I would rather work. And the other problem is we've been using different, we've had different landscapers. And so the whole, every single year we've had someone different and the communication breakdown. I'm hoping maybe with Alliance, I'd like to go directly to them to see what they could do to be able to record the monthly usage so we can get it submitted to the state.
And when winterizing, because it's outside, it's got to be, you take it off, drain it, that's it. It's like anything else. That part, that's why they didn't do that. Because we had new people.
Most of those are plastic these days, so.
And the whole reason here is that there's, if we're drawing more than, I don't know what the calculation is, but it's 20,000 gallons a week, a day, whatever. If you hit a certain threshold, then it requires a whole different permitting process. Right now, this is not a permitted irrigation well. And it can stay unpermitted, as long as we're under the minimum draw. And I'll keep you up to date on that.
It's considered a well, even though it comes out of the pond.
So, yeah, I mean, I think so the school they're not pulling out of the pond.
They're pulling out.
They
out
have
the
an
ground.
irrigation well. They're pulling out of the ground. I always thought we had a well, but you had mentioned a few meetings ago that there's a pipe that goes out into the pond. So
So what does it go down and then out?
Hadn't changed in almost.
Is there a submersible?
Forever.
Is the submersible pump still there?
No,
There isn't a sub.
there's never been one there.
Yeah, there was.
The ones
Yeah,
that
there
we,
was at
I
one
put
point.
it in.
Yep.
oh yeah, I'm thinking of I'm thinking of something else. Yes, there is one there. Yep. I was thinking of something like a jet pump at one time we had too.
all right.
I it's been so long since I've been down there. I don't know what's there.
I'll work with the rec commission and the new landscaper and see what we do have for a setup and try to work with the state. I don't know where this is going to go, but the letter looked pretty official. It's there in your PDF, so you'll see. Also, Jason's here and just wanted to mention that Jason had reached out to me. Again, he had talked to the board, the Conservation Commission had talked to the board about some bridge crossings at the Boulder Dash Trail. This is the new trail that's up here by the state forest. And Jason wanted to reach out, just make sure everyone's comfortable with him constructing some of the crossings. It's mud season. The water is there. Some of the bridges you've noticed are not adequate. We need to make some improvements. So I know this board has a standing request with conservation that any work that's done is that, it's communicated through this board.
Mhm.
The LED streetlight project, from what I'm told, I just received an invoice. Project's complete, 100%. I've not actually been around town to see the new LED lights. I mean, when you leave here tonight,
Yeah,
I
good
know
time to do it.
we converted a couple street lights here. Have you seen them?
No. I go from my house to Romano's and there's no
Street lights.
That is true.
I will thank Jason because Jason was very early on. He gave me the lead of the contractor that we used, and this contractor was incredibly responsive to our needs. As you know, they kind of secured everything to get the rebate program, and then the rebate program was canceled by their holding off on the project a few months. We were able to get the rebate back. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, so
Good.
supposed to be converted 100%. I've not heard anything from anyone.
One thing, Troy, maybe to get from them is they'll give you a GIS layer of all the streetlights.
I have that, and I will forward that to. I got a GIS. They just sent that today with the invoice. So yeah.
And what is the count now of
43
43?
streetlights.
Wow.
That's a lot. We're illuminating everything now.
And some of those, they call them streetlights, but some of those are like floodlights in sort of the parking lots. Yeah. But they're categorized as
Were
streetlights.
they able to look at any of them down at Roy Memorial before they got?
We were trying to coordinate with that, but because that's a different process of where we have to get, a construction request into Eversource.
Yep.
So they said they can definitely assist us with that. However, they recommended let's get the ones replaced, just see if the illumination changes. Maybe there's not a need to add.
So they did do.
So
the
now's
one-
the time to
They
go
didn't
down.
put the new one in. They did the other ones that were down there
Right.
supposedly.
So if there's a difference, maybe the new ones eliminated that dark spot from the parking lot to Talon Hall.
Swing by on the way home.
Maybe.
Kevin and I can remember when there was probably 5 in this town.
There was a time when they put a street in, the fire department, at the chief at the time, they want to put a light at the end of the street so they can find it.
Page Road, Pinecrest, Hillcrest.
Was it?
All the majors.
Yeah.
It was dirt.
And those roads used to come down and they forked at the end and there was an island in the middle with a telephone pole.
Yep.
So if you missed your run. Yep.
All right. And then another item is still working. Jason's out there. He gave a presentation to this board a while back about trying to coordinate with the town of Hooksett, the vendor that's going to do the aerial imagery flyover. He's still working on that. Just wanted to, keep that alive. And when we get the hard numbers, we definitely want to try to make sure we secure that, because you think we're going to be able to. Okay.
We're already up there flying. Might as well come to us too.
And we
Small
also
town.
we received some correspondence from residents. First one was regarding Pennachuck Water. I think you all have received that through email. I have a resident that wrote a page and a half letter, very frustrated with the recent agreement issued by the POC. Obviously, the Board of Selectmen had agreed to it over the new rates and had a lot of questions. And in reading that letter, people need to understand that the town itself can represent the town's interest, but individual users, it gets, that becomes a difficult issue for using taxpayers' money to fight individual, claims. But what I think the first step to do is maybe we can take that letter, send it to the attorneys that we had, and see if they could, if they'd be interested in trying to draft a response, because a lot of it was about the part of the issues in the agreement itself. So
Good place to start.
I think it's the best place to start. The next one is 43 Tanager Way. We received the residents that live there. These are the homeowners that had the bullets strike their home. I think this was like last fall. The Londonderry and Litchfield Police Department have concluded their investigation. They had no findings, but when I say no findings, there were no way to identify the weapon that was used, the vicinity that the weapon, the shots were fired. There's just no evidence to be able to, to really point at any specific area. The homeowner is asking the Board of Selectmen if we could get involved somehow. And I know Mr. Weber had reached out to them and said, well, maybe the first step we can do is try to get the Londonderry and the Litchfield Police Department together in a meeting with the homeowner, and they may invite some of the people in the residents in that neighborhood, and maybe we start from there.
Yeah.
I
It's a
talked.
100% police issue. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know what we're going to bring to the
I
party.
talked to
other than
Captain Scotty
facilitate a
about it
meeting.
today, and he felt that there's no reason why we couldn't have that meeting, and he encouraged it so that get the parties together and talk about what it is that the departments both did together in the investigation and how they came to to the end where they're at now.
So you're going to facilitate that? for
I
us?
can facilitate that. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
And the last item, not knowing the resident was going to come here this evening, I wanted to bring up the fire truck article that was defeated recently at the polls. As we all know, it is a very close vote. I think we can all speculate that why it failed. I think the bottom line is it failed. It could have been that the fire department could have been out there promoting it more, but I think that they were in a situation where being out there and really trying to promote it sometimes can turn into a negative reaction from voters too. Feel like, and I think they really took a hands-off approach, letting the citizens really decide whether or not they wanted to take on this new cost, because this was going to be a new cost. This article asked the question to the citizens, if they wanted to raise this money. We all know that if passed, the article would have exceeded the tax cap. So we had a budget committee that couldn't recommend it, but unofficially on the sideline, many of them voiced their support for it, but there was not anything they could do because we had the tax cap. Early on, when we were trying to figure out how to word the article, we had come up with different scenarios. We were we could have had the article written so that we could have used some money from the unassigned fund balance. We could have asked if we could have used ARPA funds. In the end, we decided the best way was to be straightforward with the citizens. We didn't want them accusing us of trying to circumvent the tax cap. And we put the question straightforward: raise and appropriate the money for a 5-year lease. So we had reached out to legal counsel asking them if the question failed, would no means no apply in this situation. And that's the response came back that because we're dealing with two different funding sources, that no means no would not apply. The selectmen, if we were to use ARPA funds, that is considered a grant, and the selectmen have the authority to accept those funds and expend them on how you see in the best interest of the town, obviously within the guidelines of ARPA. We have received $452,000 in ARPA funds. The second payment is scheduled to be in May or June, which will bring a total of $904,000 of ARPA funds in our possession. I would say before July 1st, we should have 100% of the funds available in our bank. So I look at this as, we know that in our CIP plan, we've talked about it, this is a very high priority in the capital improvements plan. It's been in there for the last couple of years. This board has asked or decided to put the question off for 2 years. We deferred asking the question to purchase the truck for the last 2 years, trying to accomplish other financial needs of the town. We now know that due to the market conditions that we're in, with a shortage of parts and supplies, that the manufacturing time for this piece of equipment is definitely 1.5 years to possibly 2 years out from the time we placed the order. The fire department went out and did some research. Doug just reached out to our contractor, and I placed a letter on your table this evening. You'll see that we had a guaranteed price of about $680,000. As of right now, the price is looking at
Jason, thanks.
$716,000, and they anticipate another 5% increase at the end of April, another 5% likely in July. In total, with everything going on, they would think that very quickly the increases in this vehicle could amount to $63,000, which would take that truck from where we had secured a price of $680 up to somewhere around $780.
Yep. Dollars for a fight.
So, yeah, I just wanted to be the messenger here and express to the board that you have the right to use the ARPA funds. As you heard from the resident here tonight, this is a once an opportunity where you could actually purchase a fire truck at no cost to the taxpayer. But if we're going to do it, we need to act quickly. I can understand the board being very concerned about the fact that we're just coming off an election and the vote was no. And if I were in your position, I know it's a difficult position. I think if you're even going to consider anything, I would at the very least have a public hearing to gather input from citizens to see how they would feel about purchasing this, the fire engine with ARPA funds, what their feelings would be about purchasing it after the article just failed.
Robert, do you think we have a moral obligation to not buy it?
There's other things that need to be fixed too.
I don't know about a moral obligation, because if over the last few years we've seen, not so much on the town side, but like the school side, 3 years ago they had a contract voted down, and I think she was the vice chairman at the time, said in an article in the Hudson Litchfield News, no doesn't necessarily mean no. So my position has always been, we can't spend the money in one place. And as I said to Troy the other day, possibly at the first payment, I would be okay with that. And then maybe come out of unassigned fund balances down the road. But no, I don't think, I think the taxpayer said they didn't want to spend the money on it, which kind of boggles my mind, but we need the fire engine, you know, and I mean, we had the cost every year laid out for the taxpayers to see. And it was actually a point of discussion between myself and the former chair of the vice chair of the school board when we were talking about it, because he asked at the deliberative or the presentation for the town to lay out the yearly payments, because I had asked for the LMS project to be laid out, the yearly payments. Now, they didn't provide that, and that passed. We provided it and we failed. So I'm still scratching my head on it. It makes absolutely no sense to me.
I think, and I'm really worried about the safety considerations. That's why I asked that question. Because I remember back in that little town where I grew up back in Illinois, they actually rolled a fire truck and going around a corner, you know, and weight shifted. And with this old truck, you know, I'm worried about the safety situation. And
I'm like you, Rich. I'm torn. The public safety portion of it is huge. Then the flip side, I hate going against no means no, right? We put it to the voters. They came back and said no. So I go back and forth every day when I start thinking about it. Because I do think it's a grave concern. I mean, we've pushed it off for 2 years. Now we're to the point, it's a big price tag compared to what was 2 years ago. It's going to take us a year and a half to get it. So what happens if we put on the warrant next year and now it's up another $100,000 and it's 2 years now to get a fire truck?
So my other question would be this, I'm sorry, Kevin.
No, go ahead.
On the ballot, it asked for 680,000, I think it was.
Right.
Now, that wouldn't have been done until July, right? We wouldn't, first payment due in July?
We would have signed all the paperwork
Yeah.
prior to April 1st. That was
Prior
the
to-
plan.
so it's not
we
April
would have had the commitment of April 1st.
But this says 716,000, so they've already gone up.
Yeah.
Because we missed the date. This is if we
Well,
buy it
this
after,
was
after April 1st, right?
No, we're not up. We can sign the agreement before April 1st. I don't know why
So-
they wouldn't honor the price that it
They gave us the price to a certain date.
was April 1st. Like, that's what I remember hearing.
so I think there's what they're trying to say. They didn't put it here in writing, but when they issued their guaranteed price of 680, since that time, they're saying it went up another 7%, which the actual value of that truck is 716,000. But I do believe they still would honor the
680 was up to
680.
March 31st.
But that's
April
March
1st, or
31st.
something to that extent.
And the fire chief did tell me that he could try to reach out to Greenwood and see if they could extend that March 31st deadline. If we were thinking about having a public hearing, no guarantee with the market, everything changes so quickly. Most corporate America is just, I don't know how much, they can really, the prices are going up every single day. And I just don't know. How
Most companies, it's about 2 months and there's a price increase.
Yeah.
They hold prices for 30 to 60 days.
Did you have a question before I go?
Again, getting back to like the two articles that I just discussed, the LMS project and the fire engine. To their credit, the school really got out to the community and promoted the project. As much as I didn't like it, they did. They did a fantastic job with that. And our people sat on their duffs and didn't do anything. And I think that's why it failed. So the other question is, do we reward them for doing nothing? Because they didn't do anything here.
Well,
They should have been out there. We all supported it.
I don't know if it's a reward to them. It's what is the right thing to do for the community and for the safety.
well, they should be out there looking at, they should have been promoting it. That's my fact on that, okay? One other thing too, and I'm gonna say this before I get my head shot.
Mhm.
That's one truck. There's 3 other ones in there, 4, right? Okay? That's what I'm thinking, okay? Do they need all those trucks? Just saying.
I mean, it's an excellent point, you know? Is there, this old truck, is there things that they do with that one that they can't do with any of the others?
Question I have, yeah, I don't know.
Do you know, Troy?
I don't know.
Um,
Mutual aid covers, I hate to say that, but they do come in.
To make it palatable, if it was going to happen, what's the depreciation you can write off every year? Is it big?
Well, we don't,
Can you depreciate these vehicles over time?
Not municipal.
we do, but I
Can't.
mean, in our
Okay.
asset management, but it doesn't have any
It's not a big
benefit.
impact.
There's no benefit to the town.
I was gonna say if you
You
could
know,
save
like,
like
it's not an
$50,000 a
expense.
year
I
that
I
way.
like the way you're thinking.
Okay, just checking.
Maybe we can break ground here.
Just checking.
Maybe we can sell the depreciation
Hmm.
to somebody. Maybe Rick Charbonneau would buy the depreciation.
Rick's got enough trucks.
We could just slip that depreciation in.
You know,
And the idea of a hearing on face value, that makes perfect sense. But then what if we get terrible feedback? I mean, I suppose terrible feedback would say, you guys really hanging out there, But I mean, just this guy coming in and telling us, I mean, that was good input.
Yeah.
He doesn't have an axe to grind,
that's what he does. for
President who
work.
has, he has
What's
experience.
that?
That's what he does for work.
I know,
Rick does
I know.
fantastic. We didn't get anything from them saying that it's just old, Okay.
But again, they
Well, think
didn't get
about
up
it.
there.
I mean, it's, I think you need to think about it and, for us to meet, I mean, it's possible to meet the March 31st deadline, but realistically, I don't see how this board can hold a hearing and really meet it.
But it definitely deserves
The
our
price is
thought.
going to go up. I can have, fire come in here again at our next meeting and talk to you about it, but
They should have been at the polls. We've heard plenty from them. They
So-
should have been out there.
if there is no action that's taken this year, then, you still can earmark some ARPA funds to put towards the purchase when you ask the question. You could possibly use some unassigned fund balance as well. And, really try to get that
Get the value
purchase
down.
price down in hopes that the complete financial package next year, all the articles could meet the tax cap. Because I really believe that the 100 votes, a little over 100 votes that this article failed by, I think when the budget committee does not recommend an article, I think that has a lot of weight.
It does. It does. And that's because of our own rules.
So with respect to a decision, how do we proceed here? Should we have a hearing or not?
Can we have a hearing next Monday?
Yeah, it'd be less than.
You lost. So
You
we'd probably
really would want
we'd have
7
to wait
days
till-
at
yeah.
least.
So we almost have to wait till the 21st
Your
Or the
last
28th
meeting, the
meeting.
28th meeting.
or have it before the 28th meeting and then make a decision on the 28th.
And this would be a public hearing,
Correct.
well publicized.
Yeah.
Probably have 30 or 40 people there, possibly.
Good.
So it could be an open discussion.
Can we get to school?
Yeah, we need a bigger room if we're
Yeah.
gonna do that.
Try to get the auditorium.
Okay. I think we are. I agree with Bob, taking all the op funds right now. Other things that need to be done too. That's the gray area. Using the whole thing, but
I definitely wouldn't support using the whole thing.
Well, Well, we have
Well, there
to,
would be no other option.
Yeah,
I mean,
correct,
when you
yes.
say the whole thing, I mean, the only question you could, if the only thing that the Board of Selectmen could do is vote to purchase the truck with ARPA funds. Yeah, you can't use the unassigned fund balance, and you wouldn't enter into a lease purchase agreement. So,
and we have to spend that money, and we would still have a couple 100,000, right?
yes, you would.
So it's not like we'd be spending it all. And we do have to spend it.
Well,
It leaves about 240,000 if the 680 price is correct.
Do we have to pay for it upon receipt? When was that? Remember we talked back and forth of
They-
when we actually had to pay for it?
They, in order to get their discounted price, they're looking for a payment, 100% prepayment at time of order.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. And so just to make you aware that this is the other thing that's
Well,
very
we don't have all
difficult.
the funds.
You don't have all the money.
Yeah, so I mean,
So
it's almost
technically-
a moot point right now.
You would be asking this question, to place the order, you would have to front the other half of the money that hasn't even been received yet. There's no reason to believe you're not going to, but do you want to be in that position?
I've got a credit card with me.
Yeah. So that makes it difficult.
And that's not even the 680, that's 716,000, so that leaves less money.
Yeah, because what I
So-
say, we only have about 450 or something.
Yeah, well, yeah, we got to know when that 680 went.
452.
Yeah.
That's all we have. And the
Well,
second payment is supposed to come in May or June.
The second ARPA
The
fund.
second ARPA fund, yeah. So we've only received, they actually paid us, and we have it in a fund. We have the $452,000 in a fund right now, cash. We don't have the balance that's been awarded to the town. So it's,
I'm a very cynical person and I can't help not feel that this wasn't set up. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. The fact that people didn't show up to do it and it's been discussed using ARPA funds all along and it smells fishy to me. I'm very disappointed in our fire department. Very. I can't express that enough.
they should have been out promoting it big time. I agree with that. He froze out there.
And I didn't have to be out there. I was helping my friend, Mr. Cutter.
Who froze too?
He
I
froze
stood
too,
aside
but we
and I-
froze together. We were snuggling though.
so what do you want to do? You don't have all the money.
We can't do it. Ain't
Price is going up every day.
Nothing we can do. Nothing, I don't see anything that we can do because they want full funding
Mhm.
and no way to do it. We don't have it. We can't do it. Wish we could. We don't.
I think towns like Londonderry recycle their engines every 3 to 5 years. Perhaps we can find something that they have that will be a lot less money and
Buying used is not bad. That's all we had before was used here, trucks. We had-
Well, the good thing about buying used is it's pretty much immediate delivery, right?
You got it.
yeah.
You know, like the first time they bought a brand new fire truck was 1967.
Well, the last truck we bought was emergency condition, wasn't it?
Yep.
Thought so, yeah.
The one they have now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, the only thing I can think of is Troy, if you could put some alternatives together, and see what the possibilities are. And I mean, we don't have the money, so we can't place the order, so it's a moot point at
That's
this
correct.
point.
Correct. The way they wrote that, it has to be right there. start the thing off. Sorry you didn't win. You know?
I hate to be backed into a corner.
So they want all the
Okay.
money and they want to raise it $40,000.
Well, they're still holding the old price. That's why I say, can't stress enough, the value in ordering now.
It says a purchase price right now of $716.
Well, I think they had the other one till March 31st, so,
Okay, I'm done with this.
yeah, I think this is the April
But
price.
in
They had-
reality, you can't blame them.
Yep.
You
No,
really
you
can't
No, you
blame
can't.
them. I mean,
Nope.
It is
Their
what it is
business,
right
their
now.
business.
I mean, it was nice enough of them to hold the price as long as they did.
things are actually doubling. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, you heard the price of fish tonight, right? It went from a buck of fish to like $8 a fish.
For trout.
Sorry, $5 a fish.
And that's here in New Hampshire.
Yep.
I mean, it's craziness right now.
And they
I wouldn't
raise
want to
road
be in
fees.
business.
No.
I wouldn't want to be in business.
Nope.
It's, has paint gone up?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sherman's still doing that
Oh,
supply
they went
chain
up-
credit.
No, they got rid of the 4% supply chain credit and went up 12%.
Take the 4 back.
Happy New Year.
Take the 4 back, Bob.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, next we have
Anyways,
selectmen
sorry.
reports. First, we have budget committee. Mr. Leary.
I think we meet on the 24th, for the first meeting.
Back at it, huh?
Back at it, yep. A couple of things that are totally unrelated to that was, Troy had talked to me, I think a week or so ago, and said he got the Pearl Harbor designation signs for the town to be a Pearl Harbor town. So it would be my goal to see them get put in and do an official thing on Memorial Day with if the Historical Society would be on board when they do their Memorial Day celebration. I think that would be a great.
Are you talking about
Talking about Purple Heart or Pearl
Purple
Harbor?
Heart?
Purple Heart designation.
Okay.
I was getting
All right,
confused with the
okay.
Pearl Harbor.
I was looking where the harbor was.
And I wrote Pearl Harbor too.
Purple Heart, yes.
I've been frustrated tonight, okay?
It's okay, Robert.
That's
We
why
still
you
love
confused
buddy.
me.
I'm changing it. So we have enough signs to do all the entry roads into town and the posts, right?
You have them all now.
So I'm sure that if I reached out to the veterans group, they would be more than willing to help put them in.
I'm sure.
We get the specs of how they want them done. We can do that. But to get them in before Memorial Day, and then if the Historical Society's willing, we could do the designation, do a little reading or something at their little parade and festivities. I think that would be great.
Yep.
So, and too bad Jason left. The other thing was on the old town hall. While we were working, I got a price from a local sod contractor to put sod in there so that not only would it take quicker, as long as it gets watered plenty, and it's like $1,100 to put sod in. So I would think maybe we find some, if we don't have the money, then I'll get people to donate money to put sod in over there. Make it look really, really nice.
Get green grass quick.
Yep.
Well,
it's
look, it
instant
won't
grass.
match.
It won't, I was gonna say, it won't match.
Match.
Won't match what?
The rest of the grass.
The rest of the grass? Well, hopefully it'll take over eventually.
Get a lot of fertilizer.
Yep. Lime and fertilizer. Lime and fertilizer. So, but yeah, he quoted me a little under 1,100. So I said not to exceed, and he said yes for 2,300 square feet, which is the amount that Jason said, and I think he was rounding up.
Yep.
So
Fantastic.
Yep.
You all good?
I think we are. Other than that, yeah.
Next planning board, Ms. Queen. Yeah.
No, it's me. Oh. Still me.
Yeah, it is.
Our next planning board meeting was supposed to be tomorrow, March 15th, and it has been canceled. The one agenda item that we had, they had to reschedule. So we have time off. The next one will be April 5th, Tuesday, 7 p.m. here at the town hall. I'm going to contact Jason about the posting on Facebook about Albuquerque Ave with the traffic calming measures that people wanted maybe to have a discussion about. We are going to put that into the planning board agenda, and I'll have to post it on Facebook or other ways for the people in town to see if they want to participate in just a conversation to see if they want to take it further.
Traffic calming.
traffic calming measure, usually paint on the street or, so they don't go down at 50 miles an
People out there
hour.
meditating and stuff.
Huh?
You got people meditating and stuff.
I'm getting things like 3D paintings. It looks like it's floating in the air.
floating,
Yeah.
sweet.
No, well, I don't know if we want to do that.
I actually think I have another resident who wants to be at planning board. I think they're going to show up at the April meeting.
Great. Very good. NRPC, the next full quarterly commissioner meeting will be this Wednesday, March 16th at 7 p.m. It is located at 30 Temple Street in Nashua, New Hampshire. That's all I have.
Heritage Commission.
We're supposed to meet in April.
Conservation Commission.
I have nothing to report. I didn't go to the last meeting, but I'll be at the next one.
Okay, great. Recreation Commission, we have a meeting next week. I missed the one last week because it was the night of town meeting, so I was at the polls. Capital Improvement Committee, we have not met yet. We're going to meet, Troy, we're putting a date, in April? We're waiting for all the new
It's already
members.
scheduled on the calendar, so it's April 4th.
Fourth, I think it is. We'll have the new appointees and so forth. We still need to go out and get one more.
One more
resident.
citizen.
Yeah.
We have a vacancy there.
Those are on Monday nights.
They're on the first Monday of the month
Okay.
is when we've.
Thanks.
Cadence probably won't be that much. We got one in April, then probably June.
I think we'll meet and there'll be some work to do. And then when you hit, the June meeting, and hopefully we'll be good for the summer, July and August. Might come back together in September.
I just wanted to make sure I didn't conflict with NRPC, which I don't.
Great. School facility improvement. The next meeting is the 23rd. Unfortunately, the emergency management team has not met.
Doing good.
We are so far.
Ask her.
All right, so that's all we have this evening for our public session. We do have one more session this evening. It's the non-public session under RSA 91A32A, employee dismissal, discipline investigation, and RSA 91A:32C, reputation. Do we have a motion to go into non-public?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. LaSalle's,
Second.
second by Ms. Queenan. All those in favor, Mr. Larry,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Mr. Lynch. Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Roll call vote to go into non-public. Mr. Larry.
Aye.
Wow.
Mr. LaSalle's. Mr. Lynch. Aye. Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I'm a yes. Motion carries 5-0-0. We're going into non-public. Hope everybody has a wonderful evening.
I declare an illegal vote.
Take care, Phil.
Kevin didn't know what he was voting on.